Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today, reviewing Ma Rainey's Black Bottom from Netflix. So Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is the story of a soul recording artist and her band. In 1927, they are recording one of their studio albums, and it all takes place during one recording session. And now this movie is based off of a play, and you can definitely feel from the cinematography of the film and the overall setting of the film that it is taken from a play because it has some incredible dialogue, and a lot of the film takes place in just that one small setting. There's a few different rooms, but it's mostly all in this studio session. And having the back and forth between all those characters, like you would see on stage on a play, and having it play out in long shots, kind of moving takes around the scenery, I think it works really well. It really engages you in the story. I felt like when I was watching this movie that you're in the room with them. You feel the tension, you feel the emotion and the power of the situations that are at hand. It's not just due to the actual filmmaking, but to the performances. There are some incredible performances in this film. In my opinion, probably the best performances of the year from Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman. They are such powerful and transformative performances of emotion and just struggle and just having to, get the most out of these actors. It's so sad watching this movie, knowing what has happened to Chadwick Boseman, but it is such a swan song film of just what he was capable of and what, maybe he could have been capable of. And I think it's his best performance. It's right up there with 42, maybe a little bit better, but just there's one scene in particular where he's giving a description of what happened to him as a child and a traumatic event with his family, and he's able to show such raw emotion, both in his voice and his eyes and just everything about his character, and him having to kind of suppress that and that bubbling over in this film. I was blown away. I knew that there was a lot of hype regarding it, especially given the circumstance, but it definitely lives up to it, and it's, in my opinion, the best performance of the year. As good as he is in this film, Viola Davis totally brings it. She transforms herself physically, just everything about her. You almost forget who she is. It's almost a chameleon type role. You forget you're watching her. It's just, you're watching Ma Rainey. She's playing such a soulful character that has also just a fiery disposition, because there's a lot of moments in this film where she has to take on kind of the power structure of her current environment, and she really goes after it. And I love those scenes where she takes back her own power, but you see her also struggling. And I know that in this movie, she doesn't necessarily sing a lot. She sings one particular part, which I think is one of the best scenes in the film. Chadwick Boseman also does sing in a different part. So they're showing all this ability to both act physically and emotionally and just really involve themselves in these characters. And I think the messages of the films really shine through these performances. It deals a lot with social structure and the difficulties of race and what happens during this time period, and even continues into the modern day, but it doesn't feel like it's too ham-fisted. It doesn't feel like they're trying to hammer a square peg into a round hole. They approach the messages in a way that are very understandable, very relatable. What's happened with African Americans through history, kind of being taken advantage of, having their own culture appropriated from them. You see that a lot in this movie. And I think the end of the movie is actually really sad. This movie is a very sad film. Even though the performances are astounding, and it's definitely a film that I recommend everyone check out, honestly, it's really sad, and it's sad in an honest way, and I think that's one of the things you can really take away from it. It's a very genuine movie, a very powerful movie. It doesn't feel like it's trying to preach you anything. It's just trying to show you the realities of history and kind of situations that arise around this atmosphere and this industry. And like I said, the production of the film, while it is like a play, they really do capture this setting, whether through costuming, makeup through Viola Davis, and just all the different things that make up what you would see in this kind of studio session, the power dynamics, the people behind the scenes, the shiftiness, the shadiness of things that happen this period, and the music. Like I said, it's a film that's mostly about music, and you have some really phenomenal music in the film. I also noticed in a couple scenes they use the score to drive forward the narrative and the characters and how things are happening. You have Chadwick Boseman in particular scene who's really having a meltdown. He's really struggling, and I noticed the music kind of matches his movements and hits it with more pressure. Everything hits harder because of the music blending into the soul of the character. So if I were to rate this movie, I would actually give it a 9.5 out of 10. I think it is a phenomenal film. One of the best films of the year. It's very close to being maybe what I consider best picture. I think it has the best leading actress in a film. It has best leading actor in a film. There's not a lot negative I can say about it. The only thing I could say is if you're someone who's not into plays and you don't like just having one setting and kind of a revolving camera and a lot of very heavy dialogue, that you might not enjoy it, but I think it's worth the performances. I think it's worth checking it out if you're not into that kind of film, which is really, really great. So if you checked out Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, let me know what you think about it. I'm interested to see if people enjoyed it much as I have. It's a very heavy movie. Like I said, it's extremely dialogue driven. It's almost entirely dialogue driven. So I'm interested to see what people think about it. So again, Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. And see you guys next time.